Video, and I thought I might do this video on Claudia and Phadrea parts. Now, we heard that Claudia had a lot to say about Phadrea and Tony Capone. And the fact that on her radio show, she, I don't know if you call it expose or call it, mm, or reveal or probably expose that Phadrea was cheating on Tom Capone, or Tom Capone was cheating on Phadrea. You know, we know they had their little beef on the Real Housewives of Atlanta because Claudia wanted to be the one to the bridge the relationship between Kenya and Phadrea. That was an impossibility because everybody look at Kenya as, the misunderstood and Phadrea got her wrong and this and that. From what I see, Phadrea didn't get it wrong. Kenya flirted with Apollo. It was obvious. Some people don't see it as flirting unless it's done to them. She asked about a threesome as if, oh, well, I asked other ones about a threesome. No, you don't ask a woman to have a threesome with her husband. Did she ask Candy if she wanted to have a threesome, want her to have a threesome with her and Todd? Did she ask Cynthia? Did she ask Portia when she was married to Cordell? And Kim Zolciak and her husband, she met on the show and married. Did she ask any of those other women on the show about having a threesome with their husband besides Phadrea Parks? And it was obvious that Phadrea and Apollo had some kind of uh, mm, relationship, that the chemistry between those two was obvious. And to say that she never did it, she never did that, doesn't mean anything when we can see with our own eyes, sense with our own pineal gland, feel in our cells that chemically these two cease to connect. There's nothing she could say that will say that. But Apollo in the end started attacking her and whatever. I guess it's a storyline. With all of that going on, Claudia thought she was going to be the bridge for those two to meet. It didn't happen, therefore her and Phadrea has a beef. Because Phadrea just don't want her in her business. And she also has she also had the beef with Portia, which to me the beef with Portia is she thinks she's better than Portia, basically. That's the chemistry I see between her and Portia. She just was jealous of Portia's life and wanted to have Portia's spot. Like Portia said, she don't invite certain energies into her circle, and she had every right to feel that way. And the fact that she would bully Portia, like Kenya used to bully Portia, but she would mock Portia for not using the proper words according to Claudia, or not saying the words or whatever. it is what it is. So with her doing all that, only thing it didn't work because for it to work, she would have to bring Portia down and she would have to bring Phaedra down, and none of it happened. Phaedra brought her own self down dealing with Candy and that thing. Just like Cynthia caused her own downfall by by you know doing what production um put in their ear to do to try to bring to try to get their spot on the show interesting. It fell apart for both, even though the backlash from Phaedra all landed on Portia, the innocent person, whether people believe it or not, I really don't care. That's what I think. It's a situation, the issue should have been between Candy and Phaedra. The moment she realized it was Phaedra that told the Portia, but no, Candy decides she's gonna just attack and have a Candy Click gang attack a pregnant woman and just attack and try to keep Portia as some violent animal that can't be controlled, which failed when Portia got pregnant from Dennis. Failed miserably because now it was able to see that no matter what, if Portia's telling the truth, they're going to spin the narrative and believe what they want, even if they know it's not true. But thing is with that, Claudia it was that trio that just did not work for Claudia. Now Claudia is, I guess she want to put some digs at Phaedra by talking about Tone Capone cheated on her and whatever. And what does Phaedra do? Phaedra does what she do best. Phaedra is passive aggressive unless she's confronted. So what does she do? She's dating Claudia's ex. And this man, I forgot this man's name. I know his last name is Islam. I forgot the first name. So the Islam guy, he is having a ball with Phaedra. So this reminds me of the relationship to make people think that Jamal, whatever his name is, him and her were dating. And I think that was all a stage, to keep people talking about her while Real Housewives of Atlanta season was going on without her. Phaedra is very good at keeping her image in the headlines, in the blogs. While everybody watching Real Housewives of Atlanta, you're still talking about Phaedra when she got the modeling job with this big modeling agency called Real Amigos, one I never heard of until she got there. And look at Phaedra. You can tell Phaedra is being made up by the best of the best as far as makeup and hair and all of that. And she's just there. I don't know if Phaedra wants to come back on the show. They be asking her, and she really said like she don't really want to come back. But people keep insisting that she do, and asking her, so she's not talking. So what does she do? When Real Housewives of Atlanta on, she gets talked about. She got talked about when they were doing the shooting on Tone Capone. Then, what's that guy name? Anyway, when she was with him, and he said they weren't dating. There's his friends. I think Phaedra just took pictures with him, like she doing with this guy. But the pictures with him wasn't as intimate as these pictures with him. So I don't know if it's a if she's acting, to be in the news because she's in the blogs instead of talking about Real Housewives. They're talking about Phadrea and Claudia. Phadrea and Claudia could have this little storyline thing to be in the news, to be talked about. People talking about her and talking about Claudia. Because Claudia, nobody want to hear nothing about Claudia, but you never stop hearing about Phaedra since she left in season 9 or 10. I haven't heard anything about Claudia, but I haven't heard about Phaedra and what she's doing. And she's here with him, and she's walking with him. They're doing some kind of handhold. She has his arm. He has a smile on his face. She has a smile on her face. So she is definitely dating him. And everything looks staged. Like, they're just putting on a little show for them. Like they claim Portia and Dennis is doing with the restaurant and diner he bought for her. They're just creating a storyline, and they don't like to be used that way. Which I find that hypocritical, really, because the show is about creating a storyline. And if you say Portia's boring, you sick of hearing about Portia and Dennis, people who are not really her fans, I might say, bloggers who are not really her fans, don't really want to talk about her. But it's talking about her because of the Tasha K thing. All they did was talk about that negative stuff about her. So, something positive. He buys her a diner, so they say. Oh, I said I wasn't gonna talk about. I think the DJ Richie guy. He was just so like, oh, he just don't want to talk about Portia, but he gotta talk about Portia because of his restaurant. If you want to talk about it, don't talk about it. But somebody's gonna talk about it. Cause the moment I heard about it, I definitely talked about it, and I'm not talking about everything because some of this stuff is annoying because it's just lies spewed out there to keep us distracted from what's really going on in the world. And what's really going on in the world, we are slaves to this system, and we're being fed information why those of the 1% sit back and watch the show. We are all on a stage called Earth. Now, this is Claudia's ex, and I forgot her name. And she says, well, one of the bloggers say, Claudia could say, oh, she just got my leftovers. My thing is, a man and a woman is not a leftovers for another man or woman. In this case, Claudia didn't say that, but the other girl, she says Claudia might say that, but if she does, bottom line is this man is not a leftover for anybody. This man looks good. If I can just remember the other guy name, it came to my face and kind of like went back a little bit, but it'll be back. Cause I'm gonna remember his name because he's not a name you can forget. Cause he's so fun. He's so fun. Phaedra dates very fine guys, and I think Phaedra is doing this to annoy, to get digs at Claudia, and I think she's doing that because Claudia wants to expose the fact that Tone Capone cheated on her, and that's why they broke up. She want to expose that. Okay, your man broke up with you, Claudia, so I break up with this man for cheating on me. So now I'm with your ex, and regardless of how you might look at it, this is cute. They're walking. This man looks so fine without his shirt on. I saw a picture of him on the beach. Um, um, as far as in comparison to Apollo, Apollo was fine with everybody. Phaedra has chosen to go with the darker skinned man. She married the lighter skin, that didn't work out. So now she's with the darker skinned man. And Apollo has a thug type. You can tell that by the way he went after Kenya date on the Housewives of Atlanta show. How he just went after that dude. I mean, he really. And I don't know if nobody else thought about, it, but I think Apollo went after Kenya's boyfriend on the show is because he was mad because he was with Kenya and not him. That's what I think. But anyway, he has that thug man. He has that like thug bud, like Phaedra says. Apollo was out of jail. She got out of jail. She thought he would change, so she married him and whatever, giving him a matter of doubt. People tend not to believe you when you tell the truth, so people add a little bit of kind of spice to it. You put a little bit of spice to it. So this dude, he changed from his thug ways or whatever kind of ways that he was that's similar to um, Apollo. I'll think of it in a minute too. Mar. Jamal Mar. Okay, name is almost coming to me. But anyway, he is and the other girl forgot the broken name. She said that since he is figured so much older than him, she figured he might have some, for look like a mommy type relationship. But like she said, he's with Islam, and those Islam men, there's no getting rid of a woman for a mommy relationship. It's just not happening with them. I'm not agreeing with on that. So, Frederick is a man that's comfortable as a man. He has that bad boy. He used to be the bad boy. That mentality. And he got a whole lot of things. She mentioned a whole lot of things about him that gives you a little bit of Apollo. He's Islam, so some religion, which is what she's the daughter of the bishop, pastor, whatever he is. So she got that religious part of him going on. She got that bad boy part of him that he is still a part of him, but he let that go. And then it's another part of him that they mentioned. So basically, she got that part of Apollo that attracted her and him. She got the religious part of him that is part of her. And she got that all rolled up in a beautiful chocolate brown body. And look at him. He's the color of chocolate. So this is her Mr. Chocolate now. And I think one of those things Claudia had to respond to this, but she probably trying to figure out how not to come back so hard on Phaedra and giving Phaedra exactly what she wants to be talked about and annoy the devil out of. I think Phaedra just doing this to annoy Claudia, and I think it's something else that I see also. Um, hmm. Phadrea has a lot going on here in this picture. It's this guy, and then there's Claudia. I don't know how the relationship ended with those two, but I think Phadrea just using to get that attention off of Mon Tone Capone, and she using him to come on to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. That when she be sparring with Apollo and his girlfriend to get the thought away from that. Now she's on to Claudia's ex-man. So that's what I think about what is going on. Phadrea is passive aggressive in this moment, even though she can be active aggressive when confronted or when need be, but she's passive aggressive here, um, trying to annoy Claudia's, just trying to tap dance on Claudia's nerves, on her nerves for talking about her, or talking about Tone Capone cheating on her. That's what I think of with that. But anyway, that's it for this video, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.